Callum Smith will knock out Artur Beterbiev with one punch. That's according to Eddie Hearn. Welcome back to Pro Boxing Fans. Now, today we're going to talk about one of the most explosive fights of the year. And it's actually only 7 weeks away on Saturday. That's creeping up, I believe, a bit under the radar at the moment. I'm sure it'll get a big push in the coming weeks, but that fight is Artur Beterbiev against Callum Smith. 3 of the 4 light heavyweight world titles on the line. And a lot of people are giving Callum Smith a big chance of winning this. Obviously, the fight everyone wants to see is the undisputed fight with Dimitri Bivol. But Callum Smith has built himself up. He's the mandatory contender for Beterbiev's WBC belt. Obviously, the WBO and the IBF belts are going to be on the line as well. And it's another British opponent for Artur Beterbiev. Now, they had a face-off actually the other day. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but what shocked me was the height difference. I actually didn't realise how much taller Callum Smith is than Artur Beterbiev. Callum Smith 6'3" and Beterbiev 5'11.5", I believe, according to BoxRec. But quite a significant height difference. Now, a lot of people usually say, well, Smith has the height advantage over Beterbiev, so that's a factor. But as we saw in the Canelo-Callum Smith fight, that actually, in my opinion, worked against him, because I felt Canelo had a lot more success. He was able to work the body, and he kind of negated Smith's attributes with having the height. Now, you could say that Callum Smith was too long at super middleweight, and I know he had short notice for that fight, but he has grown into a very dangerous light heavyweight. He's had 2 wins since moving up. Arguably not the most decorated opposition, but he absolutely destroyed Castillo at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm sure you guys remember that fight. That was actually a very scary knockout. Castillo was luckily all right after the fight. And then he knocked out Bodalik in another big knockout. That was on the AJ Usyk rematch card in Saudi Arabia. So Callum Smith is a very dangerous operator. The issue for him is activity. His last fight it'll be almost a year to the day since that fight when he steps in against Beterbiev in Canada on August 19th. Whereas Beterbiev recently fought Anthony Yarde in January. That was one of the fights of the year, in my opinion. Really, really good fight until Beterbiev essentially broke Yarde down and Tunde Ajayi put the towel in. Speaking of Tunde Ajayi, we had him on the channel a few days ago, and we asked him about the fight, and he wonders how much that fight has taken out of Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev, 38 years old now, obviously 19-0, 19 KOs. The record speaks for itself, but it was a very grueling fight, and Artur Beterbiev took a lot of shots, took a lot of punishment. He obviously dished out a lot of punishment as well. I mean, being ringside for that, he's definitely the most explosive puncher I've seen live, Artur Beterbiev. But how many times can you keep going to the well, as they say? And Eddie Hearn, who promotes Callum Smith, he lost the purse bid for this fight, so this fight will be promoted by Beterbiev's promotional team, Top Rank. But Eddie Hearn has given his opinion on this fight, and this is what he told some reporters who asked him about it on the weekend.
See this now, sometimes you see it, right? And he's going to be up against the ropes, and Beterbiev's going to come in like he does. He's going to square up his feet, and Callum's going to do what he does best, which is counter with the left hook, 1-punch knockout.
You feel like Beterbiev is slipping?
He's definitely slipping. He's like 39 years old, but he's also a beast.
So Eddie Hearn very confident that his man Callum Smith knocks out Artur Beterbiev, and with 1 punch. It's an interesting view. Obviously, Eddie's going to support his guy, but he seems very confident. And like I said before, there is people that feel like maybe Beterbiev is reaching the end. And Callum Smith, who is, like I said, developing into a very good light heavyweight, former super middleweight champion, maybe could be the guy that proves too much at this stage of his career. It's going to be a very interesting fight, obviously here on Sky Sports and ESPN in the US. And that fight, like I say, is coming up quick. So let me know in the comments, do you agree with Eddie Hearn? Is it going Callum Smith's way? Is he taking all the 3 world titles back home to Britain? And can you imagine, I'm sure, well, there won't be a rematch clause because this is a mandatory fight. I was going to say, I'm sure there's a rematch clause for Beterbiev, but I doubt there is. So who knows? If it's a great fight, then maybe they could do it again in the UK. Callum Smith's always wanted a fight at Anfield, home of Liverpool Football Club. But I reckon that should Smith win the fight, Eddie Hearn will want it to make an undisputed fight with Dimitri Bivol, who also fights on DAZN. So we'll see what happens. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree with Eddie Hearn? Is Callum Smith winning the fight, or does Artur Beterbiev make it 20-0, 20 KOs? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.